Well, we're live at Beslam. It's a part of history that ain't real good. This is the school, SNO, where 375 people were killed by everyone. That was taken by Chechen rebels or Islamic fundamentalists, whatever they were. And they held the kids, 780 kids, a couple hundred teachers or whatever, adults, herded them into this gym. Freaking must have been packed. They killed all the strongest one. They apparently killed them and chucked them out the window in the first day or so. And then, after a couple of days of failed negotiations, the Ruskies broke out the T-24 tanks and freaking took them. Flamethrowers. It was just like, apparently there was 5,000 locals here too, militia, that were ready to attack as well as the military. Obviously the kids are all here, you know what I mean? They weren't happy about it, I guess. But 375 people, 180 kids died. 2004. Pretty brutal by the sound of it. Talk about making a statement, don't fuck with us. Apparently the locals got hold of a couple of the, well, you call them terrorists. They thought they were fighting for the right side, but they got hold of them and there was mutilated bodies and people getting strung up in the street and pretty full on. But yeah, there's another gravesite somewhere close by. But this was pretty much the turning point against, you know, I mean, like public opinion shifted. It was in the United Nations. Not many people would have heard this. I think I remember it, but we didn't get much of it in the West. But it was in the United Nations condemned and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I mean, when you're fighting for independence and all that kind of stuff, and want autonomy, probably the worst thing you can do is go and massacre or be involved in a massacre with children. It doesn't matter if you're in the right or wrong. You're going to be looked at. You started it. It ended up badly and you're gone. So basically, we haven't heard much of the Chechens since. Oh, we got the Polskas have been here too. It's actually a pretty moving place. If you're coming through this Georgian Vladikavkaz, drop in. I've been to some of these pretty crappy places where bad things have happened in history. This has definitely got an ordinary feel to it. But yeah, the story behind it, Google it. I'll put it on my blog or something later. It's freaking, what was going down here was bloody horrendous. They took some into one room and then, because there was a couple of the terrorists or whatever you want to call them, they were not into taking the kids hostage, so the leader shepherded them all into one room with some of them and then remotely detonated one of the bombs, killing his own people and the others, and then went in and shot the ones that survived. Apparently one of them survived. One of the hostages survived the whole thing and relayed that story. There's a lot of conflicting reports. I mean, like the West have said the Russians did the wrong thing and all that kind of stuff, but and going in with tanks and flamethrowers, and if you look in the other room, God, my bloody hell, there's bullet holes in the wall everywhere. I'm guessing that's shrapnel too. But you know, it's a bit. I could take you over there, but it's going to be. We might be able to get over there quickly. But yeah, they surrounded it and. There's sort of, I mean, there's always going to be dissenting views of how it actually got kicked off, but the bottom line is, they were here. The Ruskies don't fuck around if you're going to play silly buggers with them. You're going to pay the price, and they're willing to sacrifice. Look at these, all these either bullet holes or mortar holes. I've already been for a walk in there. I've got some photos inside. I don't think you're supposed to be in there, but I've applied for a window. If you're in this area, come through. It's freaking awesome. Well, not awesome, fuck. It's like, it makes you just realise how stupid we are. It's like we've got a really, it's like I've been to Austwitz and that, and it's like, I don't know, it's just as bad. I know only 370 people compared to light, but there's something about this joint. It's just the violence to it. I don't know what it was. It's something, you can feel it when you walk in this gym. Basically, a hell of a lot of people died in this one room. Kids. I don't know what it is about this. Come here and see for yourself. You'll know what I mean. But apparently the roof collapsed. There's dispute on how it actually caught fire. But some of them are saying it was a bomb went off. Well, one of the bombs got detonated, and the roof caught on fire, and then burned 110 of them to death instantly. Well, not instantly, but 110 died here, in this when the roof collapsed on them. Mate, pretty crazy shit, eh? Humans, we're pretty good at doing some wicked stuff, whatever the reason. I don't know where this monument is. That's somewhere. Have to go and find it. Won't be hard to find. So Beslam. So it's like 30 k's from bloody Kavkaz. That's weird, eh? 375 people got killed here. But Google it. There's a couple of twins. I saw a couple of twins here. These little boys. It would have been, being silly, but it's been heartbreaking to lose any child, but let alone identical twins would have been double the pain, I suppose. There must have been families that lost more than one kid here. It was a school of 1,100. There was 1,100 hostages. I'll take you for a walk over into the other room. Go in the back window. It's pretty bad. Oh, I don't know. Walking around. That's the building. They were going to tear it down. They were going to tear this school down. There was a big outcry to leave it. For a monument, you know what I mean? Fair enough too. You can see all the bullet holes and shrapnel holes in it. But there's dispute on who actually started the fighting. You know, I mean, obviously the guys that took the place started it, but they wanted a settlement, and in the end, there was talk of the armoured personnel carriers and tanks and everything was attacking this joint with all the people inside it. You know what I mean? It was obviously overkill when you've got 1,100 hostages, but they were killing them beforehand anyway, so they were like, you know, I mean, you might as well say they were dead. They were killed heaps and just dumping them out the window, and they wouldn't let them take them away and things like that, so they've been there for a couple of days, piles of bodies out the window, for fuck's sake. What do you do in that sense? I mean, just let it keep going. And hang on. You've got to draw the line somewhere, I suppose, don't you? And pull the holes in this one too. Invasion. Pretty crazy, eh? This room got smashed. Whoever was in here wasn't going to be lasting too long. There's bullet holes everywhere. Shrapnel. Apparently there's the new schools around here somewhere, and one of the teachers was it was named after him because he was saved a lot of kids or something. I don't know. I guess there would have been heroes in here somewhere, of course, when it comes to that kind of stuff. There you go. There's your tour of Beslam school massacre. There you go. It certainly is sad when there's children involved. 177 children, I think, died. The adults, they just basically executed. From what I've read, they just piled them into a room and just blew them up and executed them, and they shot them in the head. And because they were, able to fight back, I suppose. What are you saying, Glenn? I get the disagreements and the fighting at kids. Yeah, I know that was. It's interesting, eh? It was like we haven't heard much of the Chechens. It was like I think even their leader said that was a freaking mistake, and mistake. Holy shit, that's an understatement, isn't it? Like the whole public opinion of the world. They after that, public opinion just went basically totally against them. Everyone, by majority, said Chechens could be rounded up and kicked out of Russia without proper documentation and blah blah blah. It was like all tough regulation. It was much like the September 11th stuff. Once they did it, it was everything. All the rules changed here about terrorism and documentation and all that kind of stuff. It's basically the end of the free movement. There was obviously criticism of the Russian handling of the situation, and rightly so, I suppose, when you're going in with tanks. But people know. There was a statement made. I've seen videos on YouTube when there's guys taking houses and people, and Russians just bulldoze the house and knock it down with him inside, and fuck around with you over here. If you're going to play the game. Actually, because it was after that Moscow theatre thing. I can't remember how many people. It was like around 100 people died, or it might have been. It was a fair few, but the Ruskies gassed them out. Everyone died. A lot of people died. Even the people died. But when they came here, apparently as soon as they took the place, they knocked all the windows out. So they couldn't pull that stunt. So they're obviously onto it. It's a pretty somber place. I'm going to try and go over to Chechnya today. I don't know if I'm going to get in. There's all military checkpoints. I was reading up, and apparently you've got to register to get in. And if I've got to do that, I've turned up in my shorts and thongs on my bike. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to turn up at the checkpoint in shorts and thongs on my bike and going into if I can get in. Might as well dress for the occasion, just in case anything happens. I'll tell you, if you're coming through, anyone's ever coming through it, come and check it out. It's pretty sad joint, really. Walking around in there, you're just knowing all the kids died. It brings almost tear to your eye. I don't know what it is about this joint. It's just, I guess it's the teddy bears, I suppose. I don't know what it is. It sort of just feels wrong. I don't know. That Auschwitz was, when I went there, it was like the whole place, the whole area had a doom and gloom over it. This is just this one building, so it's all condensed in one place, whereas I stayed in Ossian. I stayed there for three or 4 days, I think, in the end, just to see if this pall of doom lifted off. Because sometimes when you go to those places, you sense it and it's on top of it, and you're going, fuck, you can feel it. So I stayed a couple extra days to see if that lifted, and it didn't. I drove 30 k's away from the joint, and boom, you could feel it. Just like, wow, that's a different feeling of the joint. Freaking hippie mumbo jumbo, I know, but you go there, you'll know what I mean. Just this place feels like it's all just bammed in this middle room. Just jammed right in the middle of this room. Don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm going to head off to Chechnya and see if I can get in.